Well, hi everybody, this is Bruce, and welcome to the first video in a series on finger picking technique. Now, that little piece that I played for you in the beginning is something that I want to teach you today because it really exemplifies a lot of what's involved in finger picking. And as simple as it might have sounded, it's a bit of a challenge to play cleanly, as you will see. But let's first talk about what is finger picking as opposed to, let's say, fingerstyle. Well, fingerstyle just means that you're not using a pick, like a flat pick. You're actually using your fingernails or finger picks. You can use a thumb pick, like this. Some people use a thumb pick in combination with finger picks, kind of steel guitar player kind of style. I just use my fingernails, and we'll go into a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of using a thumb pick a little bit later on in another video. But first, let's just talk about what comprises, or what are the characteristics of what I call finger picking. And the main characteristic of it is that it has a rotating bass. So if I played an A chord like this, I might play the three lowest strings, the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th, in a rotating bass pattern like this. Then I can play kind of an arpeggio style on top of that. Any kind of rhythm like that. And then I might want to play kind of a lead part on top of that. So you have a rotating bass, and you have kind of an arpeggio thing going on, which is almost like a rhythm part, and then you might have a lead part, and the lead part might bring you up into, for instance, like that. So that's all in A. So I'm playing a rotating bass, and I'm playing an arpeggio, just kind of a filler, and I'm playing a lead part, usually on the upper string. So you can look at usually on the bass strings, the lowest 3 strings are usually used for your bass part, and your upper 3 strings are usually used for your arpeggio and your lead parts. Now, if I play an A like this, like I was, I can play a rotating bass. It's like 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, because it's all in tune. If I play an E, the same thing. I can play those 3. If I play a G, same thing. Now, if I play a C chord, we know that we can use the G note in a C so that we can play all 6 strings. So that would allow me to play a rotating bass on all 3 bass strings like this. But now what typically happens is you've used up all your silver bullets here, you don't have any fingers left, and you need some fingers. So you need a finger at least to play a lead part. Okay, let's say I want to play the lead part to Freight Train. Okay, well, I need a finger to play that, and all my fingers are tied up in the chord. So what I can do is I can rotate this ring finger here between the C and the G note. Okay, let's talk about the chords in that little melody that I played for you at the beginning. It starts off with a C chord, and we use the D note in the C, and we make a lead with our little finger and our first finger, with going from a D to a C to a B. So it goes D, C, B, C. The B being the open second string. It goes. Now we're going to rotate the bass of the C note between the C root and the G using this finger like this. So this chord, the rotating bass goes like this, and then the lead part goes, okay? The second chord is an A minor 7th, so you just take your C chord and you drop the C root and you make an A root with it. The rest of it remains the same, and you have an A minor seventh, and it modulates between the D, C, B, C again. And then the third chord is a D, but it doesn't have either a major or a minor third, and it's got a suspended second in it, which is an open. If you take the first string and leave it open, so the lead in the D chord goes between the first string and the second string. You don't have to move your fingers. You just play the first and the second string, and then the last chord is a G, but we don't play the first string. We only play up to the second string, and we play a C, which is an 11th for the G. But what we're really doing here is we're making the same kind of lead part that we did in the first two chords, where we went D, C, B, C. Here we're starting off with C, and we're going C, B, C, D, and then we end there. Now, when you pick this, you can use your thumb for the bass, of course, and you can use either 2 fingers or 3 fingers. And I use these 2 fingers for the first part of it, like this. And then for the second chord, same thing. When I go into the D, I use my third finger here, my ring finger, just because I like to assign 1 finger per string, but you can do it either way. You can either move your fingers up and play that with that finger, or you can play it with your ring finger. Then when it goes back to the last chord, which is the G, I go back to using these 3 fingers again. So here's how to approach this exercise, or any finger picking song that you want to learn in general. This, I think, works pretty well. First thing you do is you pick up the bass pattern. You learn the bass pattern, get that down pat. So in the first chord here, we have a C, and we have the rotating bass that goes like this. Now what we want to do is we want to play the lead part, and in this case the lead part falls right on the first beat of the root note. So every time we hit the root note, every time we hit the C, we're going to play a lead note. Same with the A minor 7th. So you just practice this, and then the D, the rotating bass goes 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, like that, and then we hit the 5 note, 5 string, we hit the lead note with it, and then we're back to the 3 note rotating bass with the G, and we hit the pinch, the lead note, along with the root. So we have a rotating bass that starts with the root note in the C, starts with the root note in the A minor 7. But when we go to the D, we're starting with the 5th. We're not starting with the D string, we're starting with the A, and it's going. So the rule is really that we're following here is not so much that that lead note falls on the root note, it falls on the first note of the rotating bass. Now when we get back to the G, those two merge again because the first note of the rotating bass is the root. So once you have learned this, you can go through the whole thing like this. D gets a little different. Now you want to add that little arpeggio bit, and that arpeggio bit is actually syncopated. It goes like this. Hopefully when you practice that, once you work it up from the rotating bass and then pinching in the lead, and then hopefully that little arpeggio syncopation will just kind of fall in. Your finger will just kind of want to do that little fill right there. It just feels right. Also, you can fill in here I'm putting it in a double there. You can do that as an accent sometime. But let me tell you, if you can get this down, you are doing really well, and you're well on your way to understanding how to do this whole finger picking stuff. Well, listen, that's a lot to work on. As simple as that exercise might sound, it is kind of a challenge to play it clean. Also, it does incorporate all the different rotating bass patterns and whatnot, so there's a lot to it. So, first of all, don't feel bad if you think it's a bit of a challenge. And second, if you get this down, you are well on your way to understanding how to do the finger picking techniques that we're going to talk about. So what we're going to do in the future videos is I'm going to sort of try to pick a good example of a song. We're going to start out the next video with Freight Train, a simple version of Freight Train, like that. I'm going to teach you how to play Windy and Warm by Chet Atkins. We're going to play Deep River Blues. And a bunch of other songs as I think of them, or if you have suggestions, if you've got a finger picking song that you'd really like to learn, make a comment or send me a note and we'll see if we can work it in, okay? So work on this exercise and I'll see you next time. Take care now.